Hey, this is Michael. This is an overview of what we do when we do social media marketing for our clients. I want to show you real quickly. This is the overview map of the entire process. It's been generalized. Your process will be slightly different, but let's get into it. First of all, let me just show you. There are several sections that we go through. There's a pre-setup and some interviews that we're going to do. We'll do initial client setup. We're going to do website review and update. We're going to do social media site updates. We're also going to look at the current state of the social media marketplace. We're going to do some basic branding. Then we're going to talk about pillar post. That's a term that talks about what is it that overall we want to talk about in your social media. Then we'll start posting and we'll start responding. And I'm going to go through each one of those so you know what it is that you'll be getting. First thing that happens in this entire process is the pre-setup and interviews. We start with a personal interview. How do you want to be known? One of the things you want on social media is to become, let's call it internet famous, okay? So how do you want to be known on the internet? This is where we actually interview you. It takes about an hour for the first time, and then we're going to do an interview with you every month so that we can keep having new content. That's one of the things that we plan to do. Um, we're going to do we're going to talk about your actual company, and we're going to brand that, telling a story about your company. We're then going to create an electronic press kit. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that, but it's one of the things we're going to do. The next step is the initial client setup, where we actually talk about your sites that you currently have. We need to get all your passwords. We need to know where it is we're going to be posting stuff for you. So then we're going to we use a program called the Sprout Social. It allows us to manage every bit of your social media and keep track of it and write reports for you. And that's just a brilliant piece of software. We'll probably set up a Slack channel so that we can keep constant communications with you. And next big thing we want to do is you want to get people off of your social media accounts. You don't want people on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. Sure you want followers, but they don't do anything for you. So we're going to set up if you don't already have it, some sort of email service. I said MailChimp here. If you've got other software that you prefer to use, we can probably use that. But basically, we're going to set up a MailChimp account for you. We're going to we're going to add an email form to your website so that you can actually collect emails for you, and those various ways that we'll do that. We're also going to have a welcome series of emails that we'll write for you so that when someone does sign up, they're going to get, hello, how are you? Here's what the products are. Here's some information for you about X, Y, and Z. If you sell cigars, maybe we're going to talk about cigars. If you're into pet photography, like I do with my other business, we'll talk about pet photography. Whatever it is you do, we're going to talk about and give your clients information to show that you're on the ball and ready to go with them. So um, we're also going to want someone, either you or someone in your office, just to every once in a while pull out that cell phone and take pictures of you doing whatever it is that you do. I know it sounds weird right now, but those pictures show that you're a real person, that you're working in your office, and people love to see the real you. So I'll show you how to do that. It's amazing how well it works. I also need to get your logo brand colors. That's going to be a theme that runs throughout all of your social media, right? We're going to set up your Facebook pixel, Google Analytics on your website. That way, when you actually do start advertising, if it's not already set up, you'll be able to retarget people who have visited the website. So we'll make sure that gets done. And if you're not familiar with lookalike audiences, we're going to set up, basically take your email list. We'll look at the characteristics of all those people on your list, and then we'll make another list that looks exactly like them. So when you go to Facebook, you're not just shooting randomly. You're looking for people that look like your audience. Next thing we're going to do is the website review and update. So it's very, very important that you have a call to action, or you have a lot of information above the fold. It means basically on the first screen of information. We'll look at your site and see if that's there. If it's not, we'll make some suggestions about how that can be updated, changed. We need an obvious call to action. If you are if you do manicures for people, give us a call. We want to do manicure for you. If you take pictures, headshots, if you do other things, we want to make sure that people know why are they coming to your website in the first place. And this is after we get them off of your social media. Um, it's just obvious after you start doing it. We want images of success on that website. We don't want to have people just sitting back and relaxing. We want to show people engaging with your products. So we'll get some of those pictures, and if we're um, over the course of time, we'll get lots of those pictures for you. Okay, so we'll have breakdown. We're going to break down the revenue stream so that you can actually um, see where your revenue is coming from. We'll do that for you also. Okay, and we're going to get rid of some of the words. By the way, let me go back here. When I say break down the revenue stream, let's say I use photography a lot because I do photography. I'll do headshot photography, personal branding photography, pet photography. We want to take each one of those things and break them down um, so that people know what it is that you do. And we're going to focus probably to start with on at least just one of those so it becomes really important to your audience. Okay. Moving forward, we're going to get rid of a lot of the words. If you've got a lot of words on your site, especially above the fold, we're going to probably narrow that down for you. Okay. If you don't have a blog right now, we are going to set up a blog. It's amazing for SEO, that's search engine optimization, and we'll just do that so people start to find you through Google and Bing and Yahoo and however else they might find you. Social media site setup updates. Um, we're going to review all of your sites and your websites. If you already have LinkedIn and Instagram and what have you, we're going to look at those things. We're going to make sure that they're actually optimized the way they need to be so that people integrate. What's the word I'm looking for? So they get involved with you. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll make changes and update them as necessary. Next thing we're going to do, and this is another big column, is we're going to look at the current state of the social media marketplace. And specifically, we're going to look in your niche or niche, and we're going to figure out who's the number one person in that niche right now. Is it you? I hope it is. If it's not, we're going to see who is, and we're going to do something about getting you a lot closer to being number one. We're going to see who are the influencers in your space. We're going to follow them. Literally, we're going to be on their email list, so when they send something else, send something out to their audience, we will know what it is and see, what kind of offers are being made by your competitors. It doesn't cost you anything, and we're going to make sure that we're on all of their social media so we know what's happening. Okay. There's a really good site out there. If you haven't checked out BuzzSumo before, basically it's a way for you to see what is resonating with your audience. You can go up to BuzzSumo, type in a subject, and it'll show you through all the most popular social networks what articles resonated with what audience. Check it out if you haven't seen it, but we'll be using that so that we know other things to write about you for your audience. Again, which social media networks are active for your ideal clients. Um, it may be that your clients are actually on Instagram and they're not on LinkedIn. If they are, we'll make sure that's where we start putting our focus for you. Okay. How are you different from your competitors? We just want to make sure that that's clear. So when people say, "Oh, I want to work with your company," they have a clear reason why, and you have a clear reason to tell them that. We're going to determine which social media networks to actually use. Again, not all of them are the same. It takes some digging to actually figure out who's who and what's what. We're going to do that for you. Our next big area is basic branding. So we're going to ensure that all web properties have the same look. So that's why we want to look at all your properties a couple of steps back. But now we're actually going to look at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Believe it or not, I think TikTok is going to blow up. So we'll take a look at TikTok. We're going to look at all of the places that make sense for you so that you know where to actually be on the web. And we're going to make them all look the same so people know it's you. If you don't have headshots already, we'll either get them and do them for you, or you'll have to get someone in your company to do them, but we'll get professional headshots for you somehow. Okay. This is where we start getting into the kind of information that you want to put out for your ideal clients, for your customers, okay? The pillar post resources. Now, uh, we have to determine what type of pillar post we want to create. And when I say pillar post, I mean a piece of big content. In this case, I'm using it to mean big content that you're actually going to put in front of your audience. For example, you might do, I'll show you over here, you might do some keynote speaking. If you go and you present at the Elks Club or someplace, we'll have somebody there recording that. And when it's done, we're going to break it down into a bunch of smaller pieces and use those smaller pieces on your social media. You might be part of a Q&A show. We're going to look for people who say, oh, you know what, I want to interview that person. Daily vlogs, we might look at podcasts, all sorts of things that we'll look at so we can determine what it is people want to hear from you, meaning your customers want to hear from you. And this is where we're going to look for those things, okay? And then let me just move forward here. We'll get you speaking engagements. You're going to be talking to bloggers. You might do Zoom with Skype interviews, those sorts of things. And eventually you will have down here your pillar posts. Those are those long articles, speeches, interviews, webinars that you can now use to create more content. Okay. Eventually then we will start posting. And again, here it is, the pillar posts. We start uploading those. We're going to take those pictures I was telling you about earlier, the cell phone pictures, and we'll connect those to smaller pieces of the pillar post. Okay, so this is where your content's going to come from. You don't have to actually keep trying to figure out everything. We'll use some of those BuzzSumo articles. We'll use some of those ideas. We'll look at your competition. We'll use some of those ideas. But you're not going to have a lack of content to post on your social media. Okay, we're also going to have a schedule for posting. The other thing that's super important if we want to build your audience is responding. You can't just post. Every time somebody comes out and looks at one of your posts and makes a comment, we actually have to respond. So we're going to respond to people in the local area who actually post either in your social media or on maybe your competitors' social media. Wherever we find something that's relevant to you, we're going to actually post. We're going to respond to people on influencers posts. That's huge. You want to actually be out there and be seen. You want your name to be known. You want people to know who you are so that when it comes to them thinking about, oh, I need somebody to help me, they think about you. Okay? We're going to respond to every post that someone actually, when they comment on one of our posts, we're going to respond to every person who says something on one of our posts. Okay, that's it. That's the overall basic plan of what we're going to do to make you internet famous and locally internet famous, to be specific. So if you have any questions, give us a call.